Assalamu alaikum, my friends. Inshallah, you are doing well. Today, we're going to be talking about a beautiful verse in the Quran. This verse is called the verse of light, and this verse is in Surah An-Nur. So, the verse is the verse of light in the Surah of Light, Surah An-Nur. So let's start by learning about this verse and understanding its deep meanings and how it reflects on our life. The verse starts with أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله نور السماوات والأرض. So it starts by telling us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the light of the heavens and the earth. مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح. In the past, they didn't have electricity, so they would make openings in the wall called a mishka. This opening is called a mishka. Inside the mishka, they would put a lantern. Al-misbah is a lantern. So they would put the lantern in this mishka. Do you know why they would do that? The mishka would amplify the light of the lantern. The light will reflect off of the opening and reflect back into the room, and it will be amplified. So the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is similar to a lantern in this opening, in a mishka. مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح المصباح في زجاجة. So this lantern is inside a glass. What is about this glass that is special? الزجاجة كأنها كوكب دري. This glass is like a shining star, subhanallah. So imagine the light, the magnitude of this light, the beauty of this light, all those details that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us about His light. الزجاجة كأنها كوكب دري يوقد من شجرة مباركة زيتونة. So this lamp is being lit through oil because it's describing the lamp that was used in the past. Those lamps were not lit by electricity, they were actually lit by oil. And this oil has been extracted from a very special tree. Do you know what tree it is? It is the olive tree. So olive oil is known to be one of the best oils. So this lamp is lit by olive oil from an olive tree. Now this olive tree is also special because this olive tree, زيتونة لا شرقية ولا غربية. This olive tree is in the middle. It is central. The sun will light on it in a balanced way. It is not in the east or in the west. It is right in the middle. So it gets optimum amount of sunlight. And when that happens, the oil quality is the best. So زيتونة لا شرقية ولا غربية يكاد زيتها يضيء ولو لم تمسسه نار. So this oil, it is of the highest quality. It is so amazing that it will light up almost as if it will light up without even needing a spark or a flame. In a typical lantern, when after you put in the oil, you need a spark or a flame to light it. This is of such high quality, it almost does not need a spark. It is lighting up on its own. Yakadu, almost as if it's going to light up on its own without even needing a spark or a fire. وَلَوْ لَمْ تَمْسَسْهُ نَارٌ. And then finally, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, نُورٌ عَلَى نُور. So light upon light. All this description is showing us light upon light, light upon light. The light of the lantern, the light of the glass, the light of the oil, the light of the blessed tree where the oil is coming from. This is all light upon light. يهدي الله لنوره من يشاء. This light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide whomever He wills to that light. Wouldn't that be beautiful if this magnificent light was something that we had in our hearts, subhanAllah? That would be absolutely beautiful. And Allah is telling us that He will guide whomever He wills to this light. وَيَضْرِبُ اللَّهُ الْأَمْثَالَ لِلنَّاسِ وَاللَّهُ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. So what is the purpose of this ayah with so much beautiful description and detail? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using this description to teach us about this light using those examples. Al-mathal is an example. It is a way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses in the Quran to teach us about a concept using those beautiful descriptors and visuals. So when we hear about this light, there is another layer of understanding to this ayah, and I have actually referred to the work of Ibn al-Qayyim. Ibn al-Qayyim has given a deeper insight into the meaning of this ayah, and that is that this ayah is actually also speaking about the heart of a Muslim. So this mishkah we talked about, the opening in the wall, is like the chest of the Muslim. And then the glass of the lantern is like the heart. Inside this heart is the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So inside of our hearts as believers, we carry the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because we believe in Him. We believe in His beautiful names. We believe in His religion. So the more, the stronger, and the more faith we have in our heart, the brighter that light will be. And the brighter it will be for us في يوم القيامة. On the last day, it will light up our path on the last day. It's a beautiful description, and Ibn al-Qayyim goes into detail about this, but basically, the oil from the blessed tree is like the wahi. The wahi means the revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This revelation, this oil, when it comes down to the heart of the believer, it lights up the heart of the believer. But this heart of the believer, that is like the crystal, is already so bright and is already so illuminated that the illumination just magnifies when it receives the wahi, when it receives the teachings of Allah, because it is on the fitrah. The fitrah is the good nature that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us on. So this tells us that we can have this light in our life, in our hearts, and in all of our being. And subhanAllah, you meet people sometimes and you look at their faces and you just feel the sense of peace and you see light. We can't judge what's in people's hearts, and we can't use this as a means to judge people, but it's just a feeling that you get, subhanAllah. So it's something that we should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for, because it is a big blessing, a beautiful blessing to have the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our hearts in this dunya and then in the akhirah, inshallah. So I hope this was beneficial, and I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants His light to all of us this Ramadan, inshallah. Inshallah, I will see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.